Hello and welcome to Taking to School with Dr. Todd Prichard. I'm your host, JP John Poz. Of course, with me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, 8-time Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. Dr. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
John, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. It's been one of those days where all the cold comes at once, and I'm ready for it to end today. Like, be
Oh,
gone.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's freaking freezing here in Jersey. Oh, my God.
yeah,
Crazy. All of
yeah.
a sudden, 70 degrees to 30 degrees. It was nuts.
So, any news in the wrestling world?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. I feel like there's a lot of stuff floating around. But how was the NWA show you were at? Because it seems like that was a bit of a talk of the town because of
Yeah.
Tyrus.
Well,
People
NWA,
were,
yeah, yeah. I think everybody did a great job, and it was a cool weekend. Tyrus and Trevor and Matt Cordona thought had a great main event, and everybody was happy with it. The people in the crowd, the boys in the back, everybody was happy with it.
seemed like Tyrus got a little bit of controversy. I'm guessing it's because of his political affiliations. I'm guessing that's the real like crux of it, or the real reason behind it. But I saw some complaining online.
Well, I think the way the world, the way the country is today, I think you're going to find that in every corner you go to, and that's why I really don't like. I said one thing about the Undertaker and his promo with or his when he was on Joe Rogan's, and
Hmm.
yeah, and so it was attacked by everybody. It's like a sewer, and then people just slinging mud back and forth. So would it make a difference? I mean, you have I don't know, man. It's a crazy time we're living in. When I get to thinking about it, because I hear it all the time, and then the more I see it, because Tyrus is on Fox, and you have the other. We just did a deal with CNN, and this guy Dan Richards in this part of the country.
Oh, I know
He
Dan. Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
Dan,
yep.
yeah, okay. So he came back, and they did a deal on CNN at JPWA last week, and so we got to talking, and they understood what I was saying, and I understood what they were saying. The news is it's entertainment, and it's also you're supposed to be informed. I get all that, but can you not have an opinion anymore today without people attacking you? Say it's us versus you or them or whatever it is. I don't know.
Very
I
strange.
really don't know. No, it's just you can attack Tyrus for whatever you want to attack him for, but uh, why? I don't understand. It's wrestling.
And the thing is, Tyrus and Fox News, he gets 3 times the audience of AEW. If you look at it, he gets
Then
more audience than SmackDown if you look at it.
it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And if somebody, just one person, when he had the TV title, he went on the show with it too, and people might say, "What is that?" And maybe it'll draw it. I don't know, but I just think we're living in crazy times where people can go on anonymously and say things,
Hmm.
and everybody's entitled to their opinion,
Did,
including
did you
Tyrus.
also did you also see he had the #1 wrestling book too? His
No
memoir.
doubt. Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. And it's a great book,
And Matt Cardona put out there because he makes those bendy figures,
right?
which I think he probably wanted to get a hold of you for as well. But Tyrus was the #1 seller for his little bendy toys too.
No
So
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I think, look, I don't think anybody's under any illusions about where the business is going um, in the next couple of years. I mean, I don't think you're going to make a case to anybody facing WWE or AEW for a while, and it gives somebody another place to work. It gives the guys a place to go get reps and be developed. And I think that's a valuable commodity that they are taken advantage of. Developing some young guys, and when they're ready to go, they're going to go. But also, I think you can probably develop a good core group of guys that'll make it work. I don't know. The business is a crazy place to be these days. It really, really is. And I ask myself all the time, what would it make anybody want to do this? It was a different business when I got into it, but I'm looking around, and there seems to be some kind of buzz going on there with people who want to do it, and they're getting this reputation on the independents, and people are asking about them. So I have to wait and see.
Be interesting to see the Tyrus experiment, because it does do, I think, around 3 million viewers as far as the Gutfeld show that he's on. He has his own show on Fox News. So it'd be an interesting experiment to see if he can get some of those fans to cross over to the NWA or not.
Well,
hopefully, yes.
I think the key there is to have a great opponent for Tyrus. Who's he going to wrestle? Who's he going to do something with that people are going to care about? So that should be interesting to see. And he already has the eyeballs on him, so why don't you make some new guys that people haven't seen yet and show that they are those diamonds in the rough? So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what the NWA.
I think guys like Odinson,
Big Boy,
the Golden Boy, who wrestled AJ Kazana.
Yep.
Jordan Clearwater, that's what I'm thinking of, and the Thrillbilly and AJ Kazana, young guys coming in looking to make a name, looking to get a buzz going about them too.
Yeah, we'll see what they got. It was interesting to see that Bobby Fulton, your old,
Yeah.
I guess feud, you could say, your old rivalry, was at the NWA show.
Yeah, Bobby came by and he was introduced to the crowd and had a good time telling stories in the back and laughing, and he looked good. Excuse me. And we had a good time reminiscing. Bobby and Ricky Morton had a good time going back and forth. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, I forgot Ricky was there too, right? He was with Kerry.
Yeah, sure was.
Wow, your two old rivals there, Ricky Morton and Fulton. Damn.
Well, Fantastics. We worked with the Fantastics, Bobby and Tommy in Japan a few times, and those guys were over pretty strong overseas. And then, of course, we worked with them in the Memphis territory too. And they were hot, man. So Bobby's a throat cancer survivor, and he was looking good. Looked like he was feeling well.
The Spectaculars, who I had the chance to interview,
Yeah.
Rush Freeman and Brady Pierce, doing a bit of a Fantastics gimmick themselves out there.
Yeah, they are, and I think that's an example of guys who are getting a chance to try a bunch of stuff and keep what works, and give them some personality and confidence. Copying the Fantastics, I noticed it right away, and I thought, yeah, it's great. Rolando.
Yep.
Yes. Rush's older brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little guy Rolando. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they stole, and it was great. Yeah, Bobby got a kick out of that too.
I guess it's a little bit of Fantastics, a little bit of Fabulous Ones too. I see what they're trying to do there.
Well, now who came first, the chicken or the egg? I think, yeah, the Fabs were along the same lines. You're right, but either one of those teams, you couldn't go wrong if you were a heel. Heel team, because you had the Fantastics, and at that time for the business too, you had Rock and Roll and the Fabs. So I mean, those were some teams that could work together, had great chemistry.
Do you know that Rush got thrown out of the locker room at one point? He was telling me.
I did not, but thrown out what locker room?
At the NWA locker room. I think he said Tyrus threw him out because he didn't know who Stan Lane was. You believe that? You
That would,
believe that?
yes, that would have been grounds of dismissal. That would have been grounds for dismissal, no doubt. Well, I can see.
I know Brady, his partner, was not happy with him. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, live and learn, but that's how you learn.
How could you not know Stan the Man? Come on.
Hey, look, uh, we can't choose when we're born,
Hmm.
and if you really think about this, if you were watching wrestling today, it's nothing like it was 20, 30 years ago. So how would you know about the Rock and Roll Express or the Midnight Express, Stan Lane, Bobby Eaton? How would you know you unless you searched it out on YouTube? That's the only way. But
Use
somebody
that
would have,
WWE network too.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So unless somebody had told you, hey, you got to check this out, what's the reason? Everybody else is watching this new stuff, this cool stuff, the flip flop, and uh, we've always had that. We've always had the flip flop and fly.
I know, but if you're a young guy in the business, let's type in who's the greatest tag team of all time. Midnight Express will probably pop up, and then you could probably look up Stan and Bobby for a little bit.
You could, but do they actually take the time to do that? And do they actually study? Look, if you have never heard a great story, how do you expect to tell a great story? If you've never seen a great match, how in the hell do you expect to have a great match? How would you even know? It's all not. It's subjective, I guess. And everybody's, what may be good to you might be horrible to me. It's potato. It's all good, but you got to admit they were the cream of the crop back then at that era. In that era, so you had the Fantastics, the Fabs, and if the guys wanted to get patterned, and I'm sure I would think anyway that somebody in that locker room said, "Go watch the Fabs, go watch the Fantastics, go watch these the Rock and Roll Midnights, watch their mannerisms, and watch what they do." And I don't know, I don't know if there's that many students of the game, and how far it goes back. If it's 20 years, okay, that's their point of reference. Why would anybody these days, a 20-year-old or 25-year-old kid, want to go look back at Pat O'Connor versus Buddy Rogers? It's not the same business. It's in black and white. This is a technicolor world with, we're vying for everyone's attention every second. So every second you have to do something else to get the people interested, unless you know how to do it the other way, and you know how to work and have that magic. But it takes time.
But if you want to learn, though, if you want to learn history, though, you and know the business, you should look up these guys.
Well, that's if
Yeah.
If is a middle word in life. If I would have done this, and if I would have studied these guys, I might have found something. And looking back at some of the old stuff, I got this from Sinbo D. He said it's like mining for gold. You may mess around, just get some rocks, but you keep mining for gold and panning and all that other stuff, you may find a couple nuggets in there. So same thing. You may watch a bunch of dud matches that don't really have anything that strike out at you. But at the same time, you may keep watching and find that one nugget, that one move, or that one thing this guy does that you can imitate, make better, make different. Originality is highly overrated, but even the great boxers, Tyson, Ali, Foreman, Frazier, they watch fight tapes of the old guys that came before them. So why can't wrestlers do it? Why can't wrestlers see the value in it? I mean, there is value. It's showbiz.
Yeah.
And so is boxing.
I would definitely, if I was them, be watching some stuff and steal some stuff from like the old school, because what's old is new, and people probably forget about some of that stuff.
Right.
So definitely steal some of it.
It's the same thing with promos. We're talking about this today. Guys would say things, or they would get ideas from riding in the cars and listening to radio, TV, and movies and stuff. That model doesn't exist today. So where are you going to get it? Well, you have YouTube. You can go down a rabbit hole and just got to know which direction to go sometimes. And study guys like Dusty Rhodes, Jake Roberts, um, Bob Armstrong, Blackjack Mulligan, uh, Piper, Flair had a different brand, but that was them, and that's what you expected from them. Why wouldn't you? It makes sense to me. It makes sense. There's a move in the Pat O'Connor Buddy Rogers match that I've only seen one guy even attempt. And it's just a walk around armbar. It's so simple, but yet looks. I think if somebody could do it today, it would look cool. You don't live in the holds anymore, but that's a point. That's an example of finding a nugget in a match. Just take it and run with it.
Hey, even Luthez, watch some of those matches. He's doing some spots, he's doing power bombs and stuff. I mean, there's some stuff out there you could definitely take.
Well, yeah, John, but hell, who the hell wants to do that? So that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Rush Freeman better be doing that because if he's
Rush
going
is
to mistake Stan Lane again,
he's a good kid. I'm sure he knows who Stan is by now. I'm going to have a conversation with him next time.
Yes, bust his balls about it. Yes. We were busting, me and Brady were busting his balls about it too because come on, kid, Stan Lane, come on. Stan the man.
Well, can't help that. I'm sorry.
But going back to the Fantastics and Bobby Fulton, wanted to talk about that today because you wrestled them not only in Japan, you guys wrestled them pretty much everywhere. There's a ton of places that you ended up wrestling Bobby Fulton in some form of the Fantastic. But you mentioned Japan. You guys started in All Japan in 1994, a little bit of a feud there. So that was some pretty good matches. You guys actually had 3 or 4 tag matches and then a 6-man tag involving Dr. Death on their team and Stan Hansen on your team. I don't know if you remember those beautiful days.
Oh, we had one with against Abby too. It was us and one of the other guys who looked like Abby, but I can't remember his name now.
The Giant Kimala?
No, it wasn't Kamala 2. That's what it was. Yeah. So, well, I know we were going to come back and we could have worked with the Fantastics all year in Japan. We were going to come back and already promised to sign the WWF contract. We really wanted to work over there first and then maybe later. But it was Japan's always been fun. So,
and the thing is, over there, they give you guys time, like to have matches. I mean, you guys are having 20-minute long, great matches against the Fantastics, but it's Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers in
right.
94. What did you think about working with Bobby and Tommy?
I loved working with Bobby and Tommy. It was like a night off. I mean, so yeah, Tommy, Bobby, both were always great.
What do you think is the difference between Bobby and Jackie versus Bobby and Tommy?
I like Jackie. But there was one night where he just turned around and kicked me right in the face, and I felt my neck go. And I thought, oh man. So Jackie and Tommy, Bobby and Tommy were, I think, a dynamic team. And then Jackie fit the bill. He looked good. He was a bigger kid, and he had intensity. He did have intensity. So, but he did kick me right in the face.
So what happened there? What the hell? I know obviously there's a Smoky Mountain, but what the hell happened?
I don't really remember. I grabbed him, I think, and took him over the head like what the That was it. But I don't remember why. It was just a spin kick. And that was when I remember, because I went, God, man, that was where I first started going to a chiropractor. Yeah. But I don't think he meant to do it on purpose. I think it was one of those things that he probably thought I put my hand up, and probably I should have put my hand up, but I don't. Yeah.
Did he break your neck?
I think he damn sure did, and I won the match with a broken freaking neck. No, he didn't break my neck. He just jammed the living hell out of my neck. But that happens. It's not ballet.
Did you tell him stop being so careless out there? What the hell are you doing?
No, but I did tell him he kicked me in my face. What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, he apologized. I know it was an accident. I know he didn't mean to do it. So how do you? I don't know. That was it.
How do you know it was an accident, though?
Pardon me?
How do you know it was an accident?
You trying to say that Jackie Fulton would take advantage of me in a match?
Yes.
Well, I don't think he has that type of thinking.
Oh.
I don't think he thinks that way. No. I really don't. I think he was just errant in his ways.
So, do you think that Tommy and Bobby were better than Jackie and Bobby as far as the team?
Yes, I do.
Why do you think that?
Because Tommy didn't break my neck. And I think that's why. And I think they were the originals. And I think the Fantastics were fantastic. So,
What about when you're looking at that team and you look at that? What about Cornette saying the Fantastics one of the greatest teams of all time?
I
He
I
throws
agree.
them. He throws them up there.
I agree. Fantastics were. They did an angle in Houston. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. I was in Oregon, and they were getting this award in Houston. They wore the white tuxedos and came to the ring, and the Bushwhackers came out and massacred them. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Okay, have you seen it?
Yes, because I remember I interviewed the Bushwhackers not that long ago, and Luke told me you gotta see this. You gotta see this.
Oh, okay. So was it? I heard the people were on their feet,
Yes.
and they got calls at the office wondering how the Fantastics were because it looked like it killed them. So
Smart wearing white too.
well, yeah. What are you gonna do?
Think about that though. As far as the Fantastics, they could work the Midnights, and Cornette says like they're the greatest working team or one of the greatest working team, and they work the Sheep Herders and have like these all-out brawl, crazy match, the exact opposite of the Midnight Express. I mean, it shows you how good of workers they were.
Well, yeah. I think they worked in Memphis before. Both of them knew the style for each, and it was so did the Bushwhackers and so did Midnight. So yeah, I think it worked out great.
When did you first meet Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers? Was it World Class all the way back in '85?
No, I want to say. Oh no, I met Tommy in Tommy Rogers in Georgia in '81, I think, or '82, and met Bobby in Tennessee, Memphis, I think, during one of his runs. That's the first time I met him. But yeah, good
The
guys.
first match I could find is in World Class in '85. I was surprised. May 13th of '85, the Fantastics defeated Thor and Dr. Tom in Fort Worth, Texas. I don't know if you remember that at all.
For not world, was it world class?
That's what I found. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I mean. So hadn't been coming from Louisiana because I wasn't. I don't. That was you talking about Fritz's promotion.
Yeah.
I didn't work for Fritz's promotion.
Really? Wow. So
Really?
this is wrong. They do have you guys in a match a month later for Mid South. You and Pat Rose versus the
So that was probably we were probably from Mid South then. Thor, that was Kevin Kelly, I think, or wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, could have
The,
been
not obviously not the announcer that you did by
no,
disc, but
no.
obviously Nails. Yeah.
Nails. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, very well could have been, but I worked with a lot of people up and down.
Did you like work with him a lot, Kevin Kelly?
Talking about Nails
Nails, yeah.
in Oregon, yes, and yes,
What
I
kind of
did.
guy is he? Because he has a reputation about him. What kind of guy was he?
Uh, for me, he was a guy who you made sure you watched all the time. You didn't take your eyes off because you wanted to make sure. That's what I got. Uh, he was a strong guy back then. We would go to the gym, and he worked out hard, and he was a great athlete. So, but you know, I know you may find this hard to believe, but there's some pretty unstable people in this business, and there was more unstableness back then. And he was like one of those guys that I felt I needed to look at and watch whenever we were in each other's presence, because I was going to make sure I was either going to go like, "Whoa, get out of the way," or find the nearest door.
Now, I know you know this story, but Vince McMahon will never be alone with a wrestler in his office again because of
Uh,
Kevin Kelly, because of
yeah.
nails.
Well, I don't think he should have been alone in his office anyway. Um, but that's here and there. Yeah, I know the story. I think everybody knows the story.
Yeah, and obviously Nails was choking him because he said he shorted him, and obviously had to be broken up. But Nails was he's beating the crap out of Vince, the owner, his boss.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he expected at that point. So that was where you get kind of dangerous, I think, because
Yeah,
if you've gone that far and you're not really thinking, then maybe, just maybe, we need to do something.
that's interesting though. You're watching your back around him, so
Yeah.
his reputation definitely is accurate.
Well, it's, yeah, very much.
So all the way back in '85, you're like we were talking about with the Fantastics. Mid South, you wrestled him a few times. One time teaming up with Pat Rose, another time teaming up with Dutch, and then again teaming up with Pat Rose. What did you think about them at that point? Just as guys, did you like Bobby and Tommy? Did you get along with them?
Love Bobby and Tommy. They both, yeah. Both were great guys. Uh, so yeah, I got along with them great, and I loved
They
working with them. Yeah.
they party guys or drinkers?
Well, I think everyone was. So that's a yes. I'm sure. If you weren't, then you needed to.
Right. You ain't playing video games in '85. You know what I mean? You're
We
not having
didn't
a game
have
room.
video games in
Exactly.
'85, right? We
Exactly.
didn't have the internet or book face and all that other stuff.
And game rooms in the
And
back
game,
instead of
yeah. No, we had
of
game rooms. We just didn't have uh, the
right card
video.
games and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, card games. Yeah.
Yeah. But nowadays, I mean, you hear stories that there's video game rooms in these buildings and AEW and WWE and stuff, so which is a little bit different.
Well, I mean, once you are able to roll with your own arena and own setup and everything, you can bring your video games with you wherever you want them. I mean, I think that's a perk everybody should have, and everybody should aspire to have. Is to have. It's kind of like you're going to bring the jungle room on the road. Just bring all that shit and uh, make your entourage carry it in. Because I know everyone has to have an entourage these days too, or a bus, a tour bus.
Which is
And
nice to have. Yeah.
oh man, yeah. So just imagine that.
So the Fantastics, not big guys either, right? 5'8", 5'9", right? They're not big guys at all, but they did pretty good in the Land of the Giants in the '80s. So
Yeah.
I'm always kind of surprised because mentally as a fan, you're just thinking like, oh, I thought these guys were bigger. They're not big at all. They're actually pretty small.
Well, I think if you look at Shawn Michaels and Undertaker going to the ring, Shawn was maybe a buck 95, and he's against the Undertaker. He's 6'6", 280, whatever he was. I don't know. I think it's all perception. It's all how you fight.
So with the Fantastics, you guys would wrestle in Memphis. You guys would have a nice little feud there. Again, you and Pat Rose, the original Heavenly Bodies. You guys had some matches in CWF too in Dothan, Alabama. You and Louis Spicoli, of all
Hmm.
people, teamed up there, which I didn't realize you teamed up with him in '89. Wow. So I mean, you kind of wrestled the Fantastics in many different territories.
Well, yeah. I guess we found ourselves in the same place, and what a better place to do it than uh, Continental Championship Wrestling, because that was where everybody that was a wrestling territory. So everybody would go and have the same idea for a match. Go out and tell a story. and then
With
everywhere. Huh?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say with the Continental too. You get some weird like partners and some weird team ups too.
Why are they weird?
You and Spicoli, like what? Why is How come you
Well,
guys?
I've known Spicoli for a long time, but he was just there, and why? And yeah, I knew Spicoli a long time by that time, and he was just a kid coming through. So why wouldn't we? I mean, sometimes you do that, just change things up, see what works, and even if it doesn't work, we're just going to do it one time, just change it up. So it wasn't really weird. It was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rad Radford, when he becomes Rad Radford, you
Mhm.
and obviously Skip and Zip know him very well. So you had some previous team up with him.
See,
Yeah.
see. That's what I'm saying. Karma, karma comes back to pay everybody. Yeah.
Then I got to mention, of course, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, like we were talking about before with Jackie and Bobby and the Heavenly Bodies. You guys basically had a feud for a full year, basically the whole year of '92. The Heavenly Bodies and Jackie and Bobby Fulton, the new Fantastic, if you will, are having a bit of a feud for Smoky Mountain. And there's some great stuff if you can find it on YouTube. There's some good stuff of the Fantastics and the Heavenly Bodies going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I kid around about Jackie stiffing me in the face, but it was one of those things that just happened. But he really is he was a good worker, and they were fun to work with, man. They really were. So they were the first guys. Stan and I were going to come in and wrestle, and we did. I know we did a barbed wire match and some other stuff with them. So it was, yeah. Look, Smoky Mountain was a lot of fun, and working with everybody there was a lot of fun because everybody was on the same page for the most part. It really was a. I think it was just too late. By that time, it wasn't going to work.
You guys had, like you mentioned, barbed wire match, cage matches, street fights, even coal miners glove match. You guys
And
had.
how could you not draw with a coal miner's glove? I mean, I was a coal miner's glove champion in California. We drew at least tens.
What's the obsession with coal miners glove though?
I have
I never
no
understood that.
Oh, you're asking me that. No, I have no idea. I'd never understood either. I just know you put a glove on the pole and climb it, and yeah, it's washers on it, or a piece of steel or something, or you knock somebody out. That's it.
I don't
Sounds
know.
exciting.
Never saw the appeal of that match. I didn't quite,
Yeah, sound exciting to me. I don't know.
and I never quite got it.
Well, maybe you should live in Pennsylvania.
Hmm. There
Possible.
were. Did you see Tales from Territory?
Which one?
The one on Oregon.
No, I did not.
It's a good
Who'd they have on?
Bushwhacker Luke,
Yeah,
Mike Masters,
awesome.
R.I.P. But he
Who?
was on there.
Who was
Well,
it?
I'm saying, rest in peace, Mike Masters. He passed away. So, but so it's Mike.
Wait. Chris, who? Mike Masters was on there. You said?
Yeah, he passed away right after
Oh,
the
I'm
filming
sorry. I
of it.
thought you
Yeah.
meant Mike Miller. That's what I was thinking of. Okay,
Oh yeah, no.
gotcha.
So it's Mike Masters,
Masters. Yeah.
Princess Victoria,
Okay.
Bushwhacker Luke, and Len Denton, the grappler.
Oh, that's good.
Good show for sure. But they were talking about the coal miners glove, and they were like, "Oh, you always got color from the coal miners." And I was thinking like from the stupid glove, like what?
Well, hold on.
Oh, Tight to Time will be right back. So if you look at the history of the feud, I just wanted to bring this up briefly. Tag team coal miners glove match. Obviously, coal miners glove on a pole. The Fantastics, Bobby and Jackie Fulton defeated the Heavenly Bodies, Stan Lane and Dr. Tom at a house show event for Smoky Mountain at the Raleigh County Armory in Beckley, West Virginia. They then had a no disqualification match on a TV taping the following day, which was August 10th, 1992. No DQ. The Heavenly Bodies, Stan Lane, Dr. Tom defeated Bobby Fulton and Jackie Fulton to win the tag team titles. That was at the Polk County High School in Benton, Tennessee. They would have a continuation of the feud. They'd have 2 tag team street fights, one on the 14th, one on the 21st, both in Harlan, Kentucky.
I'm at the point, John, where it
Yes.
just got to go.
Yeah, when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah.
So what do you think of just the legacy of the Fantastic? When you think about it, Bobby Fulton obviously just got honored by the NWA, which is on the show. But what do you think about just the legacy? Because Cornette's is one of the greatest tag teams of all time. What do you think?
Well, I do think one of the greatest tag teams of all time, but for various reasons. Certainly for their work in the ring, but outside the ring, Bobby Fulton is a great coach, great mentor, and has some great ideas and suggestions for guys if they ask. And he's one of the veterans that has a clue and wants to help the young guys. So that legacy as a coach and a mentor also for Bobby should stand, and they were a great team. So that's what I think.
Where would you rank them, like in the greatest tag teams of all time?
Well, see, the problem with that is the guys keep getting better. Each era they keep getting better. And what I mean by that is they look better. They come across in a more spectacular fashion. But at the same time, the Fantastics, if we're going in eras, which I think that's probably the best way, they're certainly in the top 10 because you got some pretty impressive tag teams up there from Rock and Roll Midnight's, Four Horsemen, Steiners, LOD. I mean, you got some heavy duty tag teams in that era that were legit bona fide main eventers, Hall of Famers. Not that Fantastics aren't, but they're in there. It's just where do you put them? Top 10, definitely.
What about the Heavenly Bodies?
No, don't see it.
Damn, I would have put them up there, but hey, all right.
Well, you can. I don't. I know where the top 10, if we're going to that era, you had enough top 10 tags from the Hart Foundation, man. You had LOD or the Harlem Heat, tag teams that were, yeah. So they were figured in. We weren't even figured in.
Bushwhackers.
Bushwhackers, yes.
Bulldogs.
Definitely. Sure.
There's some pretty good, damn good tag teams out there for sure.
There was during at one time during the 80s, there was a hell of a tag team division out there. You had the Bulldogs, the Rougeaus, the Rougeaus,
Demolition,
the
Rockers,
yeah. For Arn and Tully, and
yeah.
So, yeah,
it's crazy if you look at the WCW or NWA tag division and then the WWF tag division. It was nuts how many good tag teams there were in the 80s.
Right. But then, and that's, I think the difference was those teams were, people could tell they were a team, inside and outside the ring, and they worked together as a team. So, that was the thing too that helped everything come together.
Very true. Let's head towards the plugs. Let's talk about your book. Where can everybody get Dr. Tom's book?
Well, if you go to jpwrestlingacademy.com, click on training, and the book order will come right on the front page. That's jpwrestlingacademy.com.
Of course, you could follow Dr. Tom on Twitter at Dr. Tom Prichard. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Go to Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com. Visit the Dr. Tom store or the JPWA store and buy some JPWA shirts. Dr. Tom, what else you got going on?
Well, John, I'm not quite sure, but I think there's somebody... we'll have a guest this weekend. That's all I have on. That's all I have going on.
Nice.
Yes,
I like that.
that's it.
I like that. I'm sure he's going to be very legendary guest.
I'm sure, no doubt in my mind.
Yes. He may have to run the ropes a little bit too. He might have to get in there. It's
Well,
been a while, but he might have to do it.
Well, we don't have spectators at JPWA. Anyway.
But of course, thank you to Dr. Tom, and thank you everybody out there for listening. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Take It to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. See you next week, folks.